And welcome back to episode 5150 of the Unpaid and Underrated Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Big Keith, joined as always by my good buddy, Big Joey.
Hello.
And this week we have special guest crew, Big Ashley. Some might know her as Smashley.
Howdy.
I'm still fucking with this light. It's been 2 weeks.
You're good. Right as I had said that, I remember to turn the Bluetooth on my headphones, and it just cut everything out for 10 seconds. I was like, oh, I guess I'm still on the intro here though. So yeah, welcome back to another week of Unpaid and Underrated, everyone. Constantly mocked by crew, etc. So just go ahead and dive right in. This week, what are we drinking over there, Ashley?
Still water. So I notoriously hate bubbly drinks. So I just drink regular water or regular coffee or regular anything. No bubbles in my house, or at least in my body.
How many have you tried though? Because I get some of them are nasty, but some of them are pretty damn good.
No, so I used to drink bubbly drinks all the time. I used to drink tons of Coke Zero, and then I was like, I drink way too many of these, so I stopped, and now I just think they're all gross, and then they got really expensive, so I just don't drink bubbles anymore. So
I can feel the expensive. That is for sure. I'm rocking out the Wegmans Lime this week because Wegmans is the most affordable. It actually comes in a 12 pack and it's $4.99 versus the bubbly that's $6 for 8. So can't beat the price on those. What do you got, Joey?
Bubbles do be overpriced, right?
Yeah, for real.
Back to the non-alcoholic Guinness for now, and I got some water and a couple Keats.
Dig it. I see Joey's wearing our little Unpaid and Underrated T-shirt. I was actually talking to Tanner a little bit about that today. It looks like there's there's 3 left in stock. So go ahead and rush while you can get there. I think there's one of each size, at least for the common sizes. So if you haven't got yours yet, go ahead and head over to Massonomics and pick you up the Unpaid and Underrated shirt because everyone looks pretty fly in them, if you ask me. I'm rocking out the Jefferson Deadlift shirt this week, and what you got on over there, Ashley?
I have on the Stringco, I think it's called the Calhoun tee. It's got the cat on it.
Oh, dope.
I am still unpacking, so I couldn't find a Massonomic shirt, but I had bought this one recently, so I'm like, we'll just do that one.
It's definitely Mass
adjacent.
Yep, and it's definitely okay. So we're good with that this week. Let's see. What are you drinking? What are you wearing? It's just 3 of us this week. I feel like we had a bigger. Oh, it's because last week we had 5 of us, so it was just everything was going a lot quicker this week. So I guess we can dive right into the rating last week's episode. It was the macro factor episode, I believe, where Tommy kind of talked up his experience with the new macro tracking app that they downloaded. So did you get a chance to listen to that one, Ashley?
I did. So I really enjoyed the fact that they talked about possibly issuing a second round of membership cards because I think I joined right after the first round went out.
Oh, no.
I think I joined the supporting membership, and so I don't have one. And then right at the very end, Tanner threw in a little one-liner that tickled me to death about eating elephants because it's one of my favorite phrases in the world to throw in at work. And so I'm going to have to give the episode a 5 out of 5 Massonomic supporting membership cards.
I think I missed the elephant thing. What's the running joke there? I don't think I've ever heard that.
So there's an old joke or an old line that says, how do you eat an elephant? And the answer is 1 bite at a time. And so I use it all the time at work. So
Gotcha. That makes sense. I enjoyed it. It's always kind of nice to have the sprinkle in the non-guest episodes, the topic episodes, because that's more often than not we get more insider trading, things from Massonomics on those because they actually can talk Massonomics for an hour if they want and 2 hours and just kind of hit the title topic for a half hour, 45 minutes. So, in general, those episodes are nice to get. I would say every 2 or 3 months at least, if not a little more often. So for all that, I'll go ahead and give it 5 out of 5 macros.
Definitely finished it today. I do like the idea that people are cluing in that you need carbs to live. You can't just eat protein all the time as much as I want to. Even told Morgan today that if she wanted me to care about her salad, it should be meat. Just a running joke. But I did catch the elephant thing because I was reading the show notes, and then I caught that, and I was just like, that's in the show notes. So that was pretty funny that we could have that reference going here today. Not much else really. I don't track I've lost like 6 pounds in 3 weeks because I haven't been lifting. I've been off creatine. I've been chewing more nicotine than eating food. So I've lost like 6 pounds. It's kind of wild. I'm almost under 160, which is victim weight. So I'm going to go ahead and give that 5 out of 5 elephants.
Nice, nice. I will kind of one of my next topics I want to talk about. I kind of wanted to get the rating out of the way before I kind of put a little personal spin on the macro aspect of it. It was actually really good motivation for me. So anyone that kind of knows me well, like knows that I used to track macros, was very diligent, had some other concerns, and kind of went off tracking there for the last few years and kind of gained a fair amount of weight, but I think I was physically in a good enough mental place to be like, all right, let's do this again. If it's good enough for Tommy, I might have to give it a shot again. And it kind of was just that spark. And it was kind of funny because I think that weekend I tried to put on a pair of pants to go to like an actual kind of fancy thing, and my pants weren't fitting very well. And I was like, fuck, I don't have a 42. And then when 40s were tight, I was like, fuck, I'm bigger than I need to be. I'm bigger than I've ever been. So that, and then just kind of, so I was already, I think that happened Saturday. So Sunday I was already like kind of contemplating it. And then the sister podcast coming out Sunday night, listening to that, I was like, fuck yeah, let's so basically I think I re-downloaded my app that night that I haven't used since like 2021, logged back in, started kind of planning my next day, looking through the fridge, and did a grocery store delivery and shit, and kind of got shit for that week. And I'm 4 or 5 days deep, down like 2 pounds. And I mean, I'm going to try to run this thing into the ground, and I'm going to do it a little different. I'm not trying to be super aggressive with the cut. Like my coach worked up my macros and was like, all right, your maintenance is like, somewhere between 3,000 and 3,500. So like, I'm trying to do more of like a 25, 27 right now. So then if I, actually get down to more of a goal weight eventually, then I can actually maintain it like 2,000 calories, but I'm not going to jump right to 2,000 calories now. I'll be fucking, I'll stay on it for a month and then get pissed off and then start eating like a shit again. So slowly do it. If anything, I'm actually almost, yeah, I feel like I'm eating more because like he really upped my carb intake to actually like hit that higher macro goal. So it's kind of been fucking sweet to be like, okay, I guess I'll eat a banana and a cup of rice and some potato. It's like I'm eating like significant amount of carbs every day now, which has been kind of dope. So
I
yeah,
did
I
the
will.
I did the opposite. As soon as I realized I was losing so much weight, I turned to Morgan and was like, "We're gonna have to now start scheduling my meals to make sure I eat," which is really hard because it is the busiest time of the year for me at work.
Yeah.
And taking breaks and going and sitting down and eating a full meal is almost impossible. And I might be anywhere from 6 to 10 hour shifts based on how busy it is. So this is a hard time. I'm not going to download Macro Factor because I just don't need any more expenses in my life at the moment. But I definitely need to make sure I start eating because getting addicted to these Zins has caused my appetite to drop.
I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I
This.
kind of learned that, like, again, 161 pounds is the lightest I've been pretty much since I started lifting. So it's like, okay, we need to start paying more attention, making sure I schedule my food because I won't eat on a whim, right? So
Do
the
you
opposite.
guys do you have so like we have the Fairlife protein shakes at our Costco, and they're fucking
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
They're like they're the best macro ones because the ones you get at the gas station a lot of times would only be like 22 grams of protein or something. The ones at the Wegmans or the ones at Costco, I think they're consistently like 30 grams and
Yep. We got them there.
reasonably. Yeah,
I
so
probably should just pick some of those up because
that would be that's a good cheat. Like it's obviously not a meal replacement, but if you already know you're not going to eat, like at least down that you got 30 grams of protein right there and a couple
Mhm.
carbs, I think. So it's better than nothing for sure. So yeah, I may or may not keep the podcast and the crew updated on my weight loss journey, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, really appreciate the podcast for kind of helping kickstart. I saw same thing happened with Coach Carp. He said he started tracking again this week. So anyone else out there tracking, feel free to share your journey in Discord because you're not alone. We all might not be happy with where we're at. So, that doesn't mean you have to track, but if tracking's where you're at in your journey, we'll all support you. I had a little quick I felt that I got a marketplace deal of the week this week. I got some crash pads for the garage gym for like $40, and they're like 120 on Amazon right now. So I was pretty stoked about that. And I want to hear a little bit about Big Joey's, meeting with Mitch Hooper, how this meet went. He was supposed to spot and load, but I think he got on the mic a little bit. And you just want to give us a little rundown on your weekend?
Oh, yeah. I almost forgot about that, which is kind of wild.
I did too
Um,
until I just put it in the show notes a second ago. I was like, fuck, something big happened last week.
yeah. So Big Steve, his daughter was actually competing in her first powerlifting competition, and she's only allowed one handler, which obviously is going to be him, not me. So I just happened to message with the owner of the gym because it's the same one I've done most of my lifting at in this area. And then I was like, hey, you know what? I'm going to be there anyway. Can I help? And he was like, yeah, well, we'll get you in the list of volunteers. But then they kind of later announced that Mitch Hooper was going to be there to help spotting and loading. So I was like so amped. I get to spot and load with Mitchell Hooper, the world's strongest man. And then I get there and they got these four gigantic guys spotting and loading, and he's going to be the back spotter, like the main spotter for bench and squat.
Yeah.
And so they were like, hey, we kind of don't need you to do that. Like, can you do it? Like, you know, would you mind jumping on the mic and being an MC for a bit? And I was like, well, I've never done that before. Do you mind if the guy that normally does it does the first round, just so I can kind of see how he is? And then I'll jump on and do that. So I ended up doing the women's deadlifts.
Sweet. It's a good one.
Yeah. It turns out I'm very good at it.
I mean, you've got experience talking on a microphone for
yeah.
2 or 3 hours for the last year and a half, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah. I kind of have an announcer voice too. It's really fun. I would try to do a little bit of like, if somebody got red lights, I would explain why. I was trying
Okay.
to explain, like, you're just standing there going, that's a
Help
good lift. That's a
helping
bad
the
lift.
helping the crowd's pretty cool because I think most people that
Yeah.
like are in it deep enough, they don't real. I mean, maybe they just take for granted that like
Yeah.
60% of the people in the audience are family and friends that don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah. So I was trying to explain, what the lights meant, what the rules were, why we're cleaning the bar in between sets, explaining the different stances and the different hand grips. Like, I'm not new to deadlifting. So it was kind of really fun to be like, up there and doing that kind of thing. And then I ended up getting a tattoo because they had a tattooer there.
I saw that.
Yeah, that was kind of wild. But in an interesting turn of events, it spiked my heart rate over 130, and it didn't go down for 2 hours. So I actually ended up having to leave and go to the hospital.
Jesus.
Yeah, so I didn't get to announce the men's deadlifts, which is what my intention was. But I got to the hospital, they checked my vitals, and they were like, the tattoo probably spiked you, and then just because of the environment, you couldn't get back down again. They
How
said,
much caffeine? How much caffeine do you have in your system? Were you down in Monsters and Ghost all day, or
no, actually, it was about the same amount as I normally have. I had a ghost in the morning and then another ghost about 5 hours later, which is about what I normally do anyway. But I think the tattoo spiked my adrenaline.
yeah, I'd
And then
imagine.
because it was 100 million degrees,
Are
and
you were at the Odie?
yeah,
I didn't know you went to South Dakota last week.
yeah, and then just being in the deadlift, and then the anxiety starts going because your watch is constantly going like, hey, your heart rate's high. It doesn't help it go down again, right? So yeah, I ended up running the hospital. They took my vitals and they essentially said, look, if we have to take blood work, you're here for 6 hours. And then I was like, so I'm gonna go home.
Is that are those Apple Watches actually like legit accurate? Like when you got there, was your blood pressure kind of right on par with what your watch was telling you?
Yes, but it had actually gone down and my watch didn't tell me. So when
Okay.
he took my pulse, it was down to 86. And then I was like, it was 105 seconds ago. And he's like, well, it's 86. And I looked at my watch and it was 86. And I guess just the air
Okay.
conditioning and
Yeah.
having somebody in the room that knew what they were doing kind of eased my anxiety or whatever was happening there. So yeah, that was fun. But I didn't get to announce the men's deadlifts. Did get to meet Mitch. Reminded him we've met before, told him that I've gotten like I'm one of his affiliates. He was pretty amped about that, got a picture and everything.
Yeah, that was sick.
So
Was that your first picture with him?
yeah, of
Nice.
the
Cool.
the other time I met him, we didn't get a picture at the Arnold. We like passed each other like twice and never actually got to stop and talk to each other. So I was like, this time we're getting a picture.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he was pretty excited about it. And he is exactly what you think he's like. So I guess without any prompt, he went just walking right towards Anastasia, which is Steve's daughter, and knew what was going on, that it was her first meet and all that, and was like giving her pointers and just like being an absolute sweetheart to her. And Steve was shocked and so thrilled because we're all big Mitchell Hooper fans, right? Like all me, him, Anastasia, and his wife were all big fans of his. So that was it was a big weekend, man.
Well, it was awesome. Yeah, I didn't know any of that. So that was you played your hand close to your vest there over the weekend. I didn't hear it. That would never that did not surface in the group chat that you were in the
Nope.
hospital. So I just
Nope.
got I got a vague picture of a tattoo that had my face on it, and I was like, okay, I guess it ended up being so it was like the your tattoo. Was it a caricature of the monkey with the E? Like
Yeah,
is
it's
that a
just a
very
monkey.
common? Okay, but I
Yeah,
didn't know if
it
it's
was a
like
flash, and yeah, we were just standing there, and the tattooer walked up and looked me up and down and went, "So when you getting yours?" And I was like, "I'm not getting a fucking tattoo today. Like, if I come home with a tattoo, my wife will kill me." So I texted Morgan and I was like, "Look, they're doing flash. Should I get one?" She's like, "No, but yeah." I was like, "Damn it! Like, you were supposed to talk me out of this."
at least get it for a pretty good deal. I don't know how I'm assuming
Oh
like
yeah,
the fact that it's I mean it's like going to be significantly cheaper since they're tattooing all day, so it's not like
yep,
they gotta.
yeah.
That's
It's just a
cool.
flash. Like, it's a preprint. It's not custom or anything.
Oh, okay.
So
So it's just
yeah,
I got you. So you just pick one of like 100 designs that she hasn't that they have in their bag ready to
yeah,
go. Okay,
yeah.
that in their bag. All right. That's about. We did. Is there anything that you saw in the lifting community there, Ashley, this week, there or the Massonomics world that we should talk about under general topics? Because I don't think either of us had. I don't think Joey or I had too much time to add too much this week. I'm not really sure what did we miss anything in the crew world?
No, random question that Joey may know the answer to. Is Mitch doing the strongest man on earth or whatever this weekend?
I think so. I think Steve was saying it's really weird that he's going to show up and spot and load the week before a
That's what
big
I was kind of
event.
thinking. But
Yeah, but he ended up just doing, like I said, backs,
yeah.
and it was like the women. So like, if he had to lift the whole person and the weight, he probably could have. So I don't think he was going to hurt himself, right? So
Did
He
you actually
essentially
watch him
showed
get
up
some
and
good saves?
he
Did
didn't
you?
really need to. Yeah, nobody really bombed
Okay,
out on anything other than bench and
that's
some
good.
deadlifts. But I don't think he was really there for that. He hopped on the live stream during deadlifts,
Okay,
so
cool.
he didn't even get to hear me MC.
Oh, well, I didn't. Yeah, I don't have too much else. I had it was just a very busy week for everyone this week.
Oh yeah.
Very fun week. The crew, fantasy football. I did sign up for a fantasy football. That's where I initially the name of my team was going to be just the No Wine Cellar, just generic, and then like the initials, the abbreviations, NWC and whatever, and then Damager gave me hell for that, saying, "Oh, real fucking original." So I was like, "All right." And then so in my head, I was kind of going back and forth with some kind of play on Orange Glaze. So then I did rename the team the Orange Glazers,
Nice.
and then UNU for the abbreviation. It wouldn't let me do like the abbreviation for and or anything or
Yeah.
the umlauts. So it's a pretty generic capital U, lowercase n, capital U, but people know who it is. And then fucking Jake, happy birthday, big Jake Heinrich. He fucking named his team like Team Honeycut or something. I'm like, you fucker.
That's great.
Why fuck?
I'm actually going to a real football game on Saturday. I won tickets today. That was pretty fun.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm going to take the boy. And speaking of Damager, big shout out, Jen and Chris. Sorry for your loss. I know that was a
Yeah,
tough one for you guys this week. So,
that's sad.
yeah, I just want to send my love to both of those guys for what they're
Absolutely.
going through now.
What football game did you win tickets for?
CFL.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So
they're like
two
in the
teams
midst
you've
of
never heard of.
the there's definitely an Agronaut or an Argonaut or something
There
up
is
there.
an
I think.
Argonaut. Yeah. No, I'm going
Yeah.
to the Tiger Cats versus the Edmonton Elks.
Yep. Didn't I know what one of those four words is. That's about
Yep. Yeah.
it. All right. Well, Big Ashley, do you have a sponsor read for Massonomics you want to hit us with before we you know get
Sure. We'll kind of play it off the cuff, but sure, let's go for it. So, let's see. If you happen to be listening to this, I'm going to assume that you've listened to the Massonomics podcast before, and that it probably tickled your fancy in some way, shape, or form, and it made you laugh a little on the inside, maybe a time or two. And yeah, and if you haven't taken the plunge to hand over a couple of your hard-earned dollars to Tanner and Tommy every month, you probably should, and become a crew member. Not only do you get access to drops a little earlier and all that fancy schmancy stuff that they say on the sister podcast every week, you get access to the Discord, where you can get in on all the silly goosery and so on. So go to massonomics.com/join today and do it already. And from what I understand, if you join now, you can get in before the next line in the sand for the next upcoming crew exclusive mailing that's coming this fall.
Yeah, we'll see. I love they're always like, oh, it's coming soon, and then like 3 months later, like,
Yeah.
is it here yet?
Yeah.
I will give them props though. I almost feel bad because so I've been desperately trying to get a 2XL strongman 8-bit shirt for like
Mm.
literally the last like 9 months. And I don't know if like me asking for that a couple times in Discord or commenting on it actually motivated Tanner to restock it. But anyway, like, obviously whenever they order shit, it's probably at least a couple months turnaround till they get it. So, they ordered it a while ago. And in the meantime, Coach Carr hooked me up with one. So now I feel bad because I almost feel like, was I a small reason why they ordered, like, restocked that size, and then I fucking didn't buy one because I got one through the crew. So I kind of feel bad about that. But in a perfect world, I that's one thing to harken back to to get back to my my weight loss thing. Is like my goal was to just look better in my 2Xs and then eventually get back into all the shirts that I own that are XL, because I have an entire fucking wardrobe of like different Massonomic shirts that I haven't worn in like 2 years as my weight has skyrocketed. So I'm actually kind of excited to like actually go through my closet and be like, what can I actually fit into? But
Mm.
sorry to kind of go on a tangent there, but I think it is time
No,
to kick all these looky loo offs. I know we had Big Mofo in there a little bit ago, or
That
no,
was
it was
Mad Cow.
Mad Cow. Yep. As soon as I said it,
okay.
I was there. Old Mad Cow was voyeuring us. But yeah, let's you ready to get the guest on the horn, Joey?
Yeah. I've already kicked everybody out.
Perfect. So all right. Is Big Ashley, is that you?
It is me. I'm here in her.
Awesome. I'm glad you are her. And welcome to the Unpaid and Underrated podcast.
Thanks
So
for
let's go.
having me.
We'll hit you the hardest one that we have so far. What brought you to Massonomics? Let's hear the whole backstory: podcast,
Oh my
apparel,
goodness.
Instagram, crew, etc.
This may actually be the hardest one because I've been thinking about this like all week, and I do not know what brought me to Massonomics. I cannot remember where I found it first. It could have been the curl. I saw the curl shirt somewhere because that was the first shirt that like really caught my eye from Massonomics. It could have been the fact that they sent a drink spotter to Dave Tate, and I was watching the Dave Tate podcast. When he opened it, it could have been something, a meme. It could have been, I don't know. I literally have no clue what brought me to Massonomics. I think it was just a series of like, I keep saying this name over and over again. I'll eventually check out the podcast, and then I'll eventually like look at their stuff closer. And then I'll eventually follow them on Instagram, even though I follow almost nobody on Instagram and things like that. So yeah, and then eventually I just joined crew. So it was just a matter of like, I guess taking me down by 1,000 cuts or whatever the saying is.
Yeah, I mean
I,
that's
I
that's
believe
how you
it's
eat
eating an
elephant, right?
elephant. Yep.
Yeah.
Ah, jeez.
Yes.
Um, one quick tidbit I want to ask you. So you said you were watching the Dave Tate, so the
Hmm.
the Elite FTS podcast, whatever it is. Do
Hmm.
you actually watch that on YouTube, or you just meant like listening to it?
No, so it depends.
Okay,
So
okay.
I
So you,
listen to podcast when I'm driving, or if I'm sitting at my computer working. I have like four monitors around me that you all can't see, but I
gotcha.
will have podcasts if they have videos up while I'm
Okay.
working. So that
So
would have probably been watching.
specifically
Because I
asking about.
remember watching that one, him like open the box
Okay.
and be like, "This is kind of cool."
So I
Yeah.
kind of have a specific to Dave Tate, and so watching versus listening, is it better or worse when you see him and hear him snort at the same time? Like, does it make it less skin curdling when you can see it? Because when I'm just listening, my fucking god, it curls it literally gets under my skin. But I didn't know if watching it at the same time, it's kind of like it softens the blow some because you know it's happening. Like, oh, I don't know. A very random
So
question, but very on
no, I
point,
mean
on
it's a good
par.
question. For him, mostly I need to be in the car. So I can't like have headphones on or noise cancellation or like anything like that. Like I can't really hear, like have really good audio. I need like
Yeah,
speakers
that
or I
makes
need
sense.
like so like I don't get all of like the really high def stuff. You like lose some of that.
That makes
But
a lot of sense.
back then, like when they sent the drink spotter and stuff, his audio wasn't as good. It didn't pick up all of that stuff. So it was easier. It was actually a little easier to listen to because the audio was shittier. But
Yeah,
whatever.
no, I do remember back in the day that because I think he's almost has like he like rebranded his whole podcast a few years
Yeah.
ago and kind of like called it something different and like started a whole new platform for it, I believe. But
Mhm.
no, that was good. I thought that I hopefully the
Yeah.
crew got a kick out of that one because I was like I didn't want to interrupt
Nope.
your whole spiel about what brought you Magic News, but as soon as you mentioned listening to Dave Tate, I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm gonna ask her about this, and I
Yes.
like let me wait for a pause because this is gonna be good.
No.
Where are they going to find you at on Instagram? If anyone, do you want to get any new followers out of this?
I mean, I don't care if I do or not. I'm sure you all noticed that I do not post anything. I think I have non-post or something. You can find me on Discord, Instagram, everywhere. I think with the same name of Mick Smashley, MC, and then Smashley. Yeah, that's my username. If you want to follow me, you can. I don't post anything. I occasionally share stories of like memes that I find that are funny, and that's it. That's all I do.
Works. I mean, it's I don't know. The whole point of this for us is always just to help bring crew together. So if you do make it out
Yep.
to the Arnold or the anything in Aberdeen, the bigger following, the easier it
Hmm.
is to kind of interact with people that I have found.
For
So yeah.
sure.
Speaking of finding people, where are you from? Where do you live? Anything you want to share on that? Just because it's always nice for people to resonate if they're in the same area.
Yeah, for sure. I am now from Central Kentucky. What is actually Central Kentucky? I literally last month moved from what everybody in Kentucky calls Central Kentucky, which is not Central Kentucky, is Eastern Kentucky, uh, to Central Kentucky, which is actually in the middle of Kentucky, right around Fort Knox, which is what everybody knows that's not from Kentucky. Um, so that's where I'm from. I'm born and bred in Kentucky. I'm actually, my hometown is the town that makes all the Zins, Joey. So when you were
Ooh.
talking about being from a, or being addicted to Zins, I'm like, yep, I know several people who have probably had a hand in making those for you. But yeah, so that's where I'm from. Uh, Born and breaded is what I say.
Breaded. I see what you did there.
Yeah.
That's funny because it's Kentucky. Good stuff.
Yeah.
It was a chicken
Um,
joke, Dave. It was a chicken joke, Dave.
that's good stuff. That might be the first time we've explained a guest joke. Usually we explain our own jokes. That might be a first. I like that. All right. One piece of Massonomics merch that you don't have access to anymore that you wish you did.
Oh goodness. So probably the raw power bison shirt.
Hmm.
Um,
Okay.
I
So,
love bison. I don't know. I like oversized animals. So probably that one. Or
So
but
does
I
my
don't wear a
wife.
lot. Yeah. Uh, that was really funny. But I don't wear a lot of t-shirts really in real life. So maybe also a Flex Flask or any of the band banners that you can't get anymore. But I don't have a place to put them. So this is really my conundrum in life is that I don't I can't consume a lot of Massonomics
What
stuff. I
what
like it all.
what do you normally wear?
So I wear tank tops or long sleeve shirts. So like I really love the Massonomics long sleeve like pocket
Hmm.
tee that they
I'm
came out
working
with.
hard. Yeah. That's
I
it.
want them to come out with like I don't know 1,000 different colors of those because I wore it like every day last year.
So t-shirts
Last
would be
summer.
riding the line for you. Like
They
that's
would.
that's two in between.
Yes. So they just like I don't know, t-shirts just irritate me in some way. Like they either need to be tank tops or they need to have sleeves all the way. I don't know. I'm
Emotionally
weird.
or physically irritate you?
Like physically
Okay,
irritate
okay.
me.
That's
Like
what I was just double checking. I got you. That
yeah.
makes sense.
I
I
mean,
dig it.
maybe a little mentally. I mean, it's
Okay, okay.
probably all mental that it physically irritates me, but yeah.
As
Yeah.
someone that's irritated by most things, it's nice to hear other people's take on irritation,
Yeah.
especially when they have such a firm stance like you do on that. I
Yeah.
dig it.
Yeah, that's as soon as the summer hits, I lose my sleeves immediately. Like the less sleeves I have to wear, the better.
Yeah.
And then as soon as it gets a little chilly, I just crave my hoodies. So
Hmm.
I'm the same way, but t-shirts for me they're just a good in between because I have a million of them. All
Speaking of,
right,
yep,
what
have at
what
it. Nope, I
what?
was I was going to do a poor segue of saying, speaking of a million, how many Hall of Fame check marks do you have? Is it a million? And
That
it
was a
wasn't
poor
very.
segue. So, what is
It
your Hall of
was
Fame status?
was bad.
So let's see. I have five, I think, counting tonight.
All right.
So at 2 years, I believe, I have a drink spotter that is literally sitting next to me, but I have nothing metal, so it just sits on my desk. Um, and then I have band merch, and I'm here. So I think that's five.
Mhm.
Uh, I'm really hoping I can get to 12 at some point in time, but it may be doubtful. But I'm gonna try.
I didn't
Arnold
realize.
is
uh,
really on my list. I'm hoping to get to the Arnold because it's kind of close.
Yeah, it is. And maybe I'll see you there.
Yeah.
I didn't realize this was like a long-term game because I said like I think Tanner messaged me one day. He's like, "How close to 15 are you?" And I was like,
Mhm.
"Well, even if I did the entire backlog, which I don't do, I was
Mhm.
like, I can't. I'm never gonna make it to Crew Falls. It's just not unless like somebody sponsors me. I'm not
Yeah.
paying for that. That's kind of
Yeah.
out of my. So I can get to 15 if I listen to the back catalog and get to 4 years, which I think is
Mhm.
next year.
Yeah.
So I think I can pull it off. I just didn't realize like there was no time limit. Like you just get to keep going and
Yeah.
forever. So like
Yeah.
in 2 years, I'm suddenly gonna get my jacket.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
wild.
Assuming Massonomic's still a thing, because that was one thing that when Tommy had mentioned kind of like if we didn't have like the supporting membership and if we didn't have like the podcast sponsors and everything, like we if we were just a t-shirt company, like we might not be here.
Yeah,
Actually, never mind. That was
last
last
week.
night's. Was that? Oh no, that was this week's live. So that was kind of
Yeah.
jumping ahead. So you guys, we haven't really heard about that yet. So we'll talk about that
Spoilers.
next week. Yeah. Well, by the time this
Yeah.
comes out, it would have already been talked about. So,
Mhm.
but just talking about how yes, like we all want this to last as long as possible, and I'm in the same boat. Yeah, I need to. I'm gonna win. I need to win something, which ain't it probably won't happen.
Yeah.
And my 4 years isn't until fucking December 2025. So I'm gonna be a minute till I hit 4 years. I think I was a slightly late adopter to the supporting membership.
Yeah.
I think why did I even join supporting crew? I genuinely don't remember. I think I was just like somebody said how much fun they were having on the Discord, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'm in."
Yeah,
So
I had to keep.
I was number 66,
Oh, you and
which
I are real
is so
close.
close.
I was.
Could
I don't remember what I am. I think I'm somewhere in the 70s or 80s, or I think I was in the 70s. I don't fucking remember, but I know I'm a lot lower now. But yeah, because I kept having to like DM mostly Squat Mats or Big Eddie for like when drops were happening and shit. Because I was like friends with like 40 crew on Instagram,
Mhm.
but I was just like stubbornly not gonna spend $3 a month to talk in a fucking message board that I didn't understand. And looking back now, like, I would have fucking signed up day one and
yeah.
kind of annoyed that I didn't because I would have put me that much closer to 4 years. Because
Yeah.
I saw Matthias somehow already hit 4 years. I'm like, when the fuck did you sign up? Like, the Discord wasn't that goddamn old. Was you motherfuckers were joining supporting membership before the Discord was even a fucking thing? Like, very strange. Like, how am I that far behind? But it's a what is it? It's a marathon, not a sprint. So we will all get there at some point.
Yeah. I mean, I was listening. I don't think I listened to the podcast very long before I joined, and I was like, all right, I enjoy this. Like, I spend money on things that I enjoy much less. Uh, so let's just give them some money. And then, yeah. And now I'm here talking to you guys. So,
Glad to have you.
yeah,
Well, you're familiar with the game, least fun, most fun, a
I
relatively new
am.
segment. Awesome. So
Yes.
I don't have to really get into that. So I'm gonna hit you with least fun, most fun. You can either take it as having or getting, however you want to interpret it. But tattoos, least fun,
Uh,
most fun, tattoos.
least fun is the fact that they hurt. Um, they are uncomfortable. No, I'm going to change this. It's not
Okay.
the pain. The least fun thing is after you get it, it's the old people or the old men in particular, in my case, that say, "Did that hurt?" It's like, well, it wasn't comfortable. Like, yes, it hurt. That's very annoying to me, and it happens a lot. Um, so that's the least fun thing about having or getting tattoos.
Most fun.
Most fun thing Hmm. Oh goodness, it's not getting them because they hurt. Uh, it's not really picking out the design because that stresses me out like crazy. Uh, I
I think
think
we just realize, like, did we just make you realize you hate tattoos?
maybe a little bit. No, I
It's
mean
like,
I
wait a minute,
think
why do I do
The
this?
most fun is getting them removed.
no, I think the like satisfaction after it's done, that it is done, it's on my like, and then I'm happy with it and that it'll be there forever. And this is a very personal thing because I have two. I don't have, they're huge, but I have two, and I like, yay, I get to look at this every day for the rest of my life, and I really like both of them. So yeah, that's what's most fun about them, or about having them, is that they are mine and nobody can take them from me.
Awesome. Did you want to share specifically what they were?
Sure. I have an anchor, which is kind of like really basic white girl of me, that I have an anchor on my back. But I got it when I was 18, and I got it in memory of my uncle who was in the Navy, who had passed away right around that time. And then on my thigh, I have a old-timey kind of scrimshaw like tall ship and whale. It's like got the rope like border around it, so it kind of really does look like a piece of scrimshaw, and kind of like it would be out of maybe an old illustration of Moby Dick. Um, and that's on my thigh. I got that when I hit my first real big lifting goal, which was an 800-pound total, which was right about a year after I started lifting. So that's what that one was for. Is I just really like whales as well as bison. Again, large mammals. Uh, and so I just wanted a tattoo of a whale, and I really like tall ships. So I just got them together. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Well, awesome.
I think I'm kind of the same thing. Like, so tattoos don't hurt me, except for the one on
Mm-hmm.
my chest. That thing fucking hurt. Like, they don't feel good,
Mm-hmm.
but also like it's obviously not a pain I'm looking to avoid,
Mm-hmm.
except for the one on my chest. We're not even gonna get it touched up. It hurts so much that a couple of the letters are a little like not dark, and I was like, no, that's fine. Um, but the ones on my hands, it's funny you brought up like the old men in particular commenting because they love talking about other people's bodies. I specifically get old women who love my hand tattoos. And I remember when I first spoke about getting them, my boss was like, you're already kind of a gruff looking dude. You've got your beard, you've got your arm tattoos, like you scowl a lot if you're not talking to people. He's like, you're in sales, man. You got to be careful. A couple years later, he was like, obviously it doesn't matter. Like people like you, just do whatever you're going to do. And it's so funny, just the amount of old ladies that like, so what hurt you that you had to get hurt on your hand? And then I'll hold up the other hand and they're like, oh, tell me that story. So I tell them the whole story and like they love it. So it's funny the differing um not end results is what I'm looking for. Experiences you and I would have, but
Yeah.
obviously we would because different reasons, different people, different comments, right? So yeah, that's really fun. Also, my leg tattoo, I just took off the second skin today. I'm so damn itchy. And I can't remember the last time a tattoo was this itchy. Like, have you been watching me? Like, where I'm just randomly slapping my leg while we're standing here? That's just because it's so fucking itchy. And it's like lines. There's no like, shading or anything. So yeah. If you ask me what the least fun is, it's the itch. Ah. Anyway, sorry to hijack your thing there.
No, I mean the itch is pretty bad. I might have said that as one of the worst things had I
Yeah,
remembered about it, but it's been a couple years since I had got the last one, and I have an addictive personality. I know this about myself, so I have to like give
same.
myself reasons why I can't get more. So
No,
like,
no, do it. Let's
or
do it.
next like benchmarks before I can get more. So I've still got a little ways to go before I can get
No,
another one.
let's get more. You just gotta be in a room with somebody that's giving tattoos and have an hour to kill. And you're
No,
like,
see,
oh
I
Well,
well,
really,
let's
or like
I really
five
permanently scar
hours
wish
of
I
my
cleanup
leg.
could
in
be
the
like
ER.
you.
Yeah.
But but I can't. What's really fun is that my parents, so growing up, my dad absolutely hates tattoos. So like when I got my anchor on my back, he was pissed. I mean, I was 18, I still live with him. And I mean, he's a preacher. He just, I don't know, for whatever reason, he hates tattoos. They've like softened on this since a little bit, but like it's just been a thing. So like all both of these can be hidden if need be, but like just so they don't have to see them. But yeah, so it's also still that thing. I'm like I can't have too many so that dad doesn't have to look at them. But yeah.
Isn't that
I was watching the Bridge City Sinners, some of their music videos, and they all have like face and neck tattoos. And in my head, I was like, that could be me. I like I could do the neck tattoo up the front and the chest and all that, but then also no, it's way too painful. Way too painful. Sorry, Keith, you were gonna say something. I cut you off as usual.
Oh, it was mainly like, isn't it crazy the fact what we do for our parents, even in our
Mhm.
30s and 40s, but we still like jump through hoops sometimes to not piss them off. And I mean, not everyone does that, but it's just like I don't necessarily do that, but on my wife's side, there's a lot of like, it's easier just to do this than to deal with the drama. And it's just, does it ever end? I
No,
guess
I
not.
mean, in my house, or my family, it's not even drama. Like, it's just like my parents were good parents. So, like, let's just try to respect them. So, my mom could totally call me today and be like, I've killed somebody and I need you to help me bury them. And be like, I guess we're doing this tonight. So, so
Nice.
like, so I'm very lucky to have that. But, yeah, so I just try to do whatever I can for them in that ways, in the little ways like that.
Well, that sounds like you're, a little bit of a fixture in that concept. And then I hear that's a little bit of what you do in your 9 to 5. We had a lot of you had even mentioned so in the questionnaire you had told us what you do for a living, and then you even put the caveat of like I bet no one actually gets this who responds. And then so our responses from your friends and family would have been the fixer, health insurance, social worker, data person, something to do with data at a health insurance company. So is any of those kind of right on the money or a little off?
I mean, they're all correct. I do data analytics, business analytics, whatever you want to call it, for a health insurance company. What that really means is that I do a little bit of everything to make this health insurance company money. It could be PowerPoint presentations, it could be data analytics stuff, whether it's writing code or doing machine learning type crap. Um, so yeah, I do a little bit of everything. No day is the same, and I usually get called in when somebody doesn't know what's going on and they need somebody to figure it out. Or if two people can't talk to each other in the way that like it's a nurse trying to talk to a technical person and like they're just not speaking the same language, and I can kind of understand both sides of the coin. So I come in and translate for each other. So yeah.
Interesting. It's a very interesting job to get into. But
Yeah.
is that something
It's one
like
of
you and is I'm assuming you were already like working for the company and kind of like worked transitioned into that, or was that like literally is there like I don't think there's a degree for what you explained.
No, no, I've completely created every single job position I've ever had. I've kind
Oh
of
wow.
fallen into them. I started my career, I've got 4 degrees. I used to
Okay.
collect them. But I started as a social worker. I got a social work bachelor's degree in social work, and that's where I got into health insurance. Is that was my first big girl job, doing social work for a health insurance company. I like the health insurance aspect, didn't love the social work aspect, but um, kind of kept with insurance stuff, realized I like some of the data stuff, whatever, went, got a master's degree in what they call health informatics. It's a fancy word for like health data crap. And so did that and then just kind of really said, hey, do you know what you need? You need me. Let me create these jobs. Let me do these things. And so, like, I've done that for, I don't know, 4 or 5 different places or whatever. And yeah, so that's where I'm at right now.
Pretty cool. It sounds like you might
Yes.
have actually tied Big Tron for years in college. You just might have walked away with a couple more degrees.
Uh, No, oh, well, let's see. How many was I in there? So I graduated in 2011 or high school in 05 and graduated with my bachelor's in 11. So I was for bachelor's in 6 years, took a couple extra years because I had a baby in there. And then I was in master's for 2, so 8, I think. I could have, yeah.
Might have nudged him out. Then it's
Hey,
just a nice
yeah.
little hark in there. So you had touched base on your 800 pound total that you had,
Hmm.
wanted for. So I guess, did you lift in high school? Is this something you found in your later years? It sounded like you had mentioned not doing it until like 2020 ish. So you were you in your 30s when you started lifting, or on and
Yeah,
off, or just
I
okay?
was 33. I had just had my second and last kid. Um, and let's see, I've never worked out before really. I had done like PE class in school and hated it every second. I'm like 6 foot tall. And
Oh
that's
wow.
one of the weird
Okay.
things about me, I guess. Um,
That that makes
so
makes Sash
school,
makes Smashly makes a little more sense then, because I'm like,
yeah,
from your three posts, I have no concept of how like tall you are. So yeah,
yeah,
6'6"
no,
looks pretty big. Makes sense.
yeah, 6 foot. And I was like 6'10" in like seventh grade, and so middle school, high school, they wanted me to play basketball. Hated it. Um,
Hmm.
refused to play team sports in school, just hated it. And so, but like had PE class but so yeah, anyway, long way of saying never really worked out, never did any of that stuff while I was in school. Um, and then I had a baby in 2020 and my second kid in 2020. And I don't know if anybody remembers that year, but that's the year you couldn't leave your house.
Yeah.
And after about having a kid and not being able to leave the house for 3 months or whatever, I was like, I really want to start leaving the house. And my husband was like, hey, maybe why don't you like just start going to the gym? That's one places that are open right now. And I was like, all right, we'll see. So I went and had like an intro session with the owner of the gym there. It was just like, I call it a baby training session, one of those free, like, join the gym things. He
Yeah.
gave me like a baby workout. Did that for several months. Really like the weightlifting portion of it or whatever. He had me do some free weight stuff, eat really easy stuff. So right around Christmas, my husband asked me what I wanted for Christmas, and I said, "Hey, get the owner of the gym to write me out like a better workout plan that is more lifting focused because I really like this." And that really kind of started it. The owner of the gym was a power lifter, so he's like, well, you have to come up with some goals. And I'm like, I don't even know. And so he kind of walked me through it. I was like, so the original goals were I wanted to squat my body weight, I wanted to deadlift my body weight, and I wanted to be able to do a push up because I had never done a push up before. And and so I was able to do those like within a couple months or whatever. And but yeah, so that's how it got started. It was very late in life. I just really fell into it and I really liked it. Um, but yeah, so did that and never turned back essentially.
That's awesome. So have you? I saw you did a mock meet. Have you done some sanctioned meets too in there?
Yeah, she
Yeah,
did her
so
second meet was
Oh
sanctioned.
yeah, yeah. There,
She
you're
did
right.
yep.
the
Then.
850 and
Yeah, I got you. Yep, yep.
Hmm.
Harken back. Yep, 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 yep,
Yep.
yep. So
uh
what's
well,
Yep.
I have a I if you don't mind.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I've talked
Uh
it all.
so same, like almost the exact same story. Started powerlifting right before COVID and then started taking it seriously when, I had a small gym and a small place to go. Um, did my mock meet, did my first sanction meet, did my section and continued on. So, um, question. So you got your 850 pound total on your meet,
Hmm.
right? Um, that was your first meet, and then you did 875 in the second. And
Hmm.
also, like me, I was planning to hit 1,000 before I turned 40. It doesn't look like that's going to happen because I'm going to be 40 in like 3 months, and I actually don't plan on doing any more meets ever. So, my question is, what tattoo are you getting on your 1,000 pound total? Is it going to be an anthropomorphic animal?
Probably not, but it could be. Because I've always said it's going to be, but it's not set in stone. Is a strong woman essentially. So like the old timey strong men like illustrations or whatever with like the globe like
Yeah,
barbell
the globe
things
dumbbell.
or whatever.
Yep,
So I want like a chick like lifting 1,000 pound like a one of those globe barbell things with a
that's
thousand
cool.
pounds in the barbell over her head.
Hmm.
Um and like on the little circus platform. That's what I
That's
want. But I could make it like a chick animal and turn it into an
Yeah.
animal wearing clothes and make it anthropomorphic because I do love animals wearing clothes, uh, for sure.
Tell me about that because that is hilarious to me.
is that what anthropomorph? What is that?
Yes.
I've never
Yes,
heard that
So
word in
she
my
likes
life.
animals doing human things.
Okay, okay.
yes. Specifically, I like portraits. I like animals sitting for portraits. Like I
Like
like
dogs playing
pictures of
poker.
animals wearing
Yeah,
clothes.
dog. Yeah,
Exactly.
poker dogs. Yeah.
Um, so I don't know. I found these pictures online at some point, and it was like of bison, like dressed in military uniforms, or like a pig with a top hat. And they were just like old-timey portraits, like of people, like how they would sit for old-timey portraits. And I want to say it was on Etsy, and the brand was called Berkeley Illustrations. I'll shout them out if anybody wants to look at them. And I was like, I love these things. So I bought like six of them, and then they came out with a calendar. So I've bought like a calendar every single year since then. But in my old house, we had a basement bathroom that I only used because my office, because I work from home, was downstairs. And so I put those pictures in that bathroom, kind of like a museum. Like this is
Hmm.
so they just stood there and they like just watched you pee and stuff. So they were just in there, and I always got a kick out of them. And anytime I went in there, and they were like some of my favorite things. And I haven't got them hung up yet in the new house, but I need to. Um, there was a time when the toilet in our main bathroom at the old house went down, and we had some company over, and one of them was it was my nephew, a 10-year-old boy, and he's like, but the animals on the wall freak me out. And I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't even think about it, like, yeah,
Hmm.
that it could freak people out because I just find them hilarious and fun. But yeah, I've given them backstories and stuff,
Of course.
so and names and things, and I really want to get, because this is me and you all are going to think I'm weird, but I want to get like the little engraved plaques and stuff and like actually kind of turn it into a museum of like, here is like Professor whoever or whatever, and like here's his backstory, for these portraits.
Okay, two questions then.
Hmm.
What's your favorite one?
It has to be the bison in the military outfit.
Yeah. Okay, that tracks. Would you consider the taxidermied one?
So I have seen like the metal casted ones, like there's a moose that has glasses, like a monocle or glasses with a chain.
Hmm.
And it's like $1,400 or whatever, and it's huge, and I want it like so badly to put over my bathtub. So yes, I would totally would.
I know when I went to that oddities expo a little while ago, they had like people would do taxidermied mice and they would put them in
Mhm.
like real life, like they put little vests and stuff on them and put them in real life scenarios. So that's kind of what led to that question.
So my 4-year-old, if I had like little ones like mice and stuff, that like my 4-year-old may play with them, so that could be an
Oh
issue.
yeah.
But like
Yeah.
Yeah.
if they could be hung up on a wall or things like that, like then yes, for sure.
All right, Keith, you go ahead. You had
I
one.
want to, yeah. I just want to hear about this is, it seems to be the most intriguing thing about you. You are a commissioned colonel in Kentucky. What is, I don't, I want to hear that entire story and don't leave out a
Okay,
second.
okay, so it's not a long story at all, and it's not even that interesting. But
I disagree.
um, I did have a vice president that for a company I used to work for tell me that was the most interesting thing about me. Is that I am a commissioned Kentucky colonel. Anybody who's not from Kentucky, it is literally an honorary title that comes from the governor, the current governor, whoever it may be. They sign a piece of paper that says, "Hey, you can now go by Colonel." It's just an honorary title that says you have done good for Kentuckians in some way, shape, or form. I got my commission. So you have to be nominated by an existing Kentucky colonel. I will say that. I was nominated and got my commission in, it's actually sitting right next to me, in 2012, in May of 2012. Um, because for work that I had done resettling refugees. Um, and somebody had not felt the need to nominate me, so it randomly came in the mail one day. And so yeah, I can go by Colonel if I want. One I sometimes do, but not often. The only time I ever go by Colonel is um,
When the kids are acting up.
no, it's when my husband's acting up. And
You
because my
know
husband
that.
is a firefighter and he likes to argue that he's done more for Kentucky than I have,
I know you
being a
outrank them.
first responder.
Yep.
And I'm like, yeah, and who is a colonel and who isn't? And so yes, so that's the
Why
only time I ever go by it. But yeah,
why do we say Colonel? Like, why don't we say it the way it's spelled?
On the moon. Yeah.
Call like it's colonel. Like,
Yeah.
why don't we say that? That's wild.
I have no clue.
That is a good one. So would it be, is it Colonel Ashley, Colonel Smashley? Like what is have you so that's one question. And then the next another one would be, do you actually have it on your job resume anywhere that like under like
I do.
addition? Nice.
I,
Good.
I
I would. I
do.
mean that
Yeah,
legitimately is like a warranty, like the fact that you know what you said you were nominated for. That's like legitimately amazing and helpful for the the world. So that
yeah,
is that's not nothing, as Joey would say.
yep. No, I mean at the very least it is a conversation topic. So yes, I do list it um on my resume. I actually, it just came in my email the other day. I got approval from the state of Kentucky to go get a Kentucky Colonel plate with the Massonomics like code or whatever. I
Oh,
MSC.
just
that's
have to take it
great.
to the clerk's office, so it's like I don't know, four more steps. But it just came through, so I've got to just get it done. So I just have to go pay a little bit more money and
That's
get it
my
done. But it
favorite.
did come through. Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, what's Kentucky? Is that a one-time thing or is it an annual? Like, what's the what's your cost investment on that?
It is an annual like $25
So
thing.
that's nothing. Okay, I always thought I always for some reason I always thought it was a lot more. Actually, you should look into it in New York.
Yeah.
Get
Consider
it.
that your supporting membership add-on.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
So
okay.
yep.
Yeah, no, I want to hear about what Keith Rant you think about twice a week.
Oh God, it lives in her head rent free. I think she said.
Oh my goodness. Yes, I actually went back
There's been so many.
because I did not see a Massonomics video posted today. And so I didn't have to watch that.
Yeah, that
I
worked out
went
good.
back and found the episode that it is. It is episode 21, and it is Keith's rant on people who do not use turn signals. And I agree with you, Keith. I mean, people should use turn signals when changing lanes. So I'll start there. But you go on this rant and you say that people who don't use turn signals should just go drive off a cliff and that you hope they crash and die. And that's the part that has lived with me forever is I'm like, I have never felt so strongly about anything. And you're like, in the name
I
of safety, I hope you go die. And I'm like,
I honestly said something similar to a biker that fucking split lanes and almost hit me this morning too. So that's good
and
stuff.
it does. It just comes back to me, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm jealous that you feel so deeply about this thing that like there's this dichotomy of like I really hope you die in the name of safety, or if I'm like you're a little crazy, sir. Like,
It's 50-50 somewhere in there is the truth.
I
That's good
love
stuff.
when they don't signal or they're driving stupid, and then you just for some reason or whatever get close to them and you see their car smashed up, and you're just like, yeah, that fucking tracks. Like, hey, you didn't signal and you cut me off, and you've been hit by other people. Yeah, no kidding, idiot. Yeah, I'm sorry. I've been running into so many just awful drivers lately. It's been. I kind of want to record myself driving sometimes, just like you, so you can hear me yell the word the C word over and over and over, and then roll down my window and yell it at the car. Like you. Anyway. Anyway, I try not to get mad.
Yeah,
I try
that's me.
to.
I try not to get mad.
That's not
Yeah.
true. I embrace the madness.
Oh, we know. Do you wanna get into a game? Do you wanna like
Yeah. What do you
yeah,
want to do? A little FMK or Mount Rushmore? There's a couple good. I got a good FMK unless you got
and
one.
I got a good Mount Rushmore. So yeah,
Okay. Let me.
that
What
tracks.
is? If you want to do yours, I somehow lost
Yeah,
mine.
okay.
There we
Just
go.
I was going through this stuff and there's just some stuff that I'm excited to talk about. So Mount Rushmore Muppets.
Oh goodness, Mount Rushmore Muppets. Okay, so Kermit has to be up there just because it's Kermit. I don't even really like Kermit the Frog, but it's Kermit the Frog, so he's got to be there. All right, the next one, would have to be Animal. Love Animal.
Yep.
That so I have never had a nickname that sticks, but people have tried many times for whatever reason to get Animal to stick, and based on Animal, has never stuck. But I just like love Animal. And so Animal's up there. He's a really good Muppet. The next one is actually a duo that I love, and it's Statler and Waldorf.
Mm-hmm.
They have to be up there because they are like my spirit animal. I just love the dad jokes and the like curmudgeonness that they are. They make me happy. Then the fourth one, let's see. There's so many good Muppets, and this is really hard. The first three were easy.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got Fozzie Bear.
Yeah,
He's awesome.
that's where I would go. I would go with Fozzie, but it looks like you have some ambivalence. Who else?
Uh, and I just completely forgot his names. Is it Schmuckums? Who's the like other monster one?
Sweetums.
Sweetums. That you have him too. I love him.
Yep.
But you also have the so my youngest kid's first music or song or music video or whatever, his very first thing that he loved from the beginning was the Manamana song.
Me too.
So, like, you have that guy. You have is it Dr. Teeth, who is the little
No.
Madama guy?
No,
Or
Doctor.
whoever that, no, it isn't Dr. Teeth. I don't know that guy's name, but he
No,
could
I
be
don't
up
know
there
his name
too,
either.
just for the sheer joy that I've gotten out of, like, my kid's sheer joy that he's gotten out of the Manamana. But I
Mm-hmm.
think I'm going to go Fozzie Bear because I love Fozzie Bear.
Well, I don't think we've ever had a lot of Muppet talk on this podcast, and I think a little known fact about me is I love the Muppets. Absolutely, I bought the box set. I watch it whenever the kids aren't around because the original series was a little more adult oriented. But the music videos, the first song that my kid ever, Oren, really got into was the popcorn song featuring the Swedish Chef. Do you ever watch
Who is
those
also good.
shorts? Yes. Did you ever watch those? Like they had the Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yes.
They had Beaker doing what song was that? Me, 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 me. Habanero.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Shortly
Yeah.
after Manamana, we got into all of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the utter silliness of the Muppets and some of the wild LSD trips of the original Muppets. I remember when I still lived in an apartment and you could rent DVDs. I'm sure some of us will remember that. I used to go and just rent a season. And that's what I would watch all the time. And there was this one thing, it was like some dancers and they had clay faces. And throughout the dance, they would change their face to do the emotion of the dance. And I was like, that's really cool, but I'm never going to watch that again. Because it was like, I don't even like that. And I'm 20 something. But yeah, little known fact, love the Muppets, loved your answers. Probably would have gone with Fozzie or Beaker, of course.
Oh, yeah, Beaker is a good one. I mean, there's so many good ones. Like, really, it would have to be like 4 Mount Rushmores.
Yes.
Like the Mount Rushmores.
Hmm,
4 heads per head.
Yes.
I dig it. I have a couple of things. I wanted to harken back once real quick though.
Mhm.
How long did it take you to find that rant? Because it's not we don't I guess I mean I think there's like transcribed stuff on Spotify now maybe,
Mhm.
but like how long did it take you to be like when did he say this?
So I knew it was an early episode. So I I used some of my research skills because this is what I'm good at. I went to Discord
Nice.
and I was like, what dates did people start talking about turn signals? Because I knew what the rant was about. And so I started looking at some dates.
Oh, I love the
Uh,
levels.
and then I went to Apple Podcasts because Apple Podcast has transcripts and started looking around those dates, and I knew you said for sure. I didn't know about like I hope you crash and die. I couldn't remember that for sure, but I knew you said I hope you drive off a cliff. So I typed in cliff into the transcript to find it. So it was just flipping through the transcripts until I found the word cliff.
Oh,
Uh,
Jesus
so it took me
Christ.
like 10 minutes maybe,
Oh,
if
that
that.
makes me so happy. Oh, I'm dying over here. That's impressive. I
I think
love
we
that.
I think we need Ashley on doing some like show notes.
Yeah, yeah, we need to
Like go dig
we
up
need
some
one of
stuff on
our
people.
we did could always use some supporting member unpaid intern help on stuff.
No, I mean
So
this is one of the things I don't let questions live in my head.
you
Like
gotta
I
find
need to know
answers.
the answers.
Yes.
I've just got to like go research it. Like that's
Yeah, you and I are
yep.
definitely on the same page on some things. Just not maybe people dying for, not using turn signals, but a lot of other things and like our ticks sound like they line up.
Yeah.
Before I hit you with a little FMK, I want to hear so this is probably something your husband submitted, possibly. Okay, so it basically just says
Oh Lord.
that your husband has a mustache because you didn't take his last name when you got
Hmm.
married.
That is true.
Okay.
Um, so I didn't take his last name when we got married. Um, I like my last name. His last name is pretty generic. And we were talking before we got married. I was like, yeah, I would prefer you don't have facial hair for the pictures or whatever. And he's like, well, I would prefer you have my last name. And I'm like, well, that's not going to happen. And I mean, he doesn't actually care that much, but and he's like, so I think I'm just gonna keep my mustache until you decide to take my last name. And I'm like, well, I guess you're keeping the mustache then.
Mhm.
So he still has a mustache to this day. I mean,
That's
he's never
great.
shaved it off just so he could tell that story.
That's
He
awesome.
loves to tell the story more than I like to tell the story. So
Apparently, I have stuff in common with your husband as well. That's good stuff. All right.
Yeah.
So I'll go with the FMK here. We're gonna go with biscuit toppings,
okay.
FMK. So three that you have to, decide what FMK you want to do with. So apple butter, grape jelly, or gravy for biscuit toppings, FMK. That
What
sounds
kind
like
of
three
what kind of biscuits are we talking? Talking sweet,
kind
savory?
of butter, a nice fresh buttermilk biscuit.
Yeah, just a southern buttermilk biscuit, I would
That's
assume
what
if
I
the
would get. That's
toppings
what I'm going with.
are are those.
Yeah, that's what I would go
Oh
with.
goodness.
Apple
So
butter, grape jelly, gravy.
oh goodness. Uh this is really hard.
Ah,
Uh
yeah. Yeah, you gotta kind of
let's
just rank them and then, do what you gotta
yeah,
do.
I mean, I guess if I have to, I'm going to kill the grape jelly because I can live without the grape jelly if I have to. Sometimes a great like a good jelly a bit good jelly biscuit's like amazing though, but if I have to get rid of it, I'll get rid of it. Uh really love apple butter. I know. I guess I'm gonna have to say that I'm gonna fuck apple butter because I don't know that like I could live with it. Like it's a treat, so I'm gonna go with that, and then I'll marry gravy because I do love biscuits and gravy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Best place for biscuits and gravy that you found? Is it just like mom and pop places, or do you have like a chain that's like, oh, this is legit, or homemade?
Uh, I mean, I really like my own biscuits and gravy.
There you go.
But one of the best places that we got really lucky where we lived before that like the Dairy Queen actually that
In
we
in
had in our
in
old
in
town
central Kentucky,
in the not
in
central
the fake central
central Kentucky
Kentucky.
in the
Yeah,
fake central Kentucky it had breakfast for like 40 years because there was a factory, and it was always homemade breakfast. So it had breakfast before Dairy Queen ever had actual breakfast.
Okay.
And so it was kind of like the hack was like that's where you go get really good biscuits and gravy and stuff because it was almost homemade stuff. So yeah.
Very nice. I actually wanted to ask you to tell us the story of the time you broke your arm. Or somebody broke your arm, I guess is the best way
Yeah,
to
I
explain
did
that.
not break my arm. I break my toes. I did not break my arm.
We will get to
Uh,
that.
um, yeah, so let's see. I was 5, I think. I was not very big. And I was minding my own business, playing on the floor with my toys. And out of nowhere comes my little brother from the top of the couch doing the Macho Man Randy Savage. What is it? The big elbow, or
Yeah,
what
the
was his
flying
thing?
elbow off the top
The
rope.
flying
Yeah, yeah.
elbow off the top rope. And he took me out, and I hit my arm on, I think it was a plastic like oven, like toy oven thing.
Mm.
And yeah, I ended up breaking it. And my, and I mean, I have an older brother, me, and then a younger brother. And we're all like within a year and a half of each other. So like we're all essentially the same age. And my mom was like, I'm not taking 3 kids to the ER. And so she made me walk around with a broken arm for like 5 hours until dad got home from work, so that she didn't have to take 3 kids to the ER, because my little brother decided that, yeah, he was going to practice his wrestling moves on me, on his older sister.
Yeah, that'll do it. My little girl just
Yeah.
broke her arm, so I wanted to hear that
Yeah.
story.
Yeah. Well,
Um, yep.
I
We,
have
we we made
all
her
the,
sit with it for 2 hours because we were just like, "You're fine."
yeah.
Like you just fell and are sad, and then like 2 hours later, she was still whining and crying, and we were like, "Oh no."
Yeah. Well, I mean, if it makes you feel any better, when my youngest was 2, he ran straight off the end of our porch, our deck out back, and we thought like, all right, whatever. Our deck was like maybe a foot off the ground, and
Yep.
we picked him up, and I mean, he whined about it or whatever, and we didn't think anything about it. But the next morning, he wasn't really walking around anymore, and that lamp was right grabbing around, and I'm like, ooh, why'd you flinch on that? And then we took him in, and he had a broken leg, so it
Yeah.
was like almost 24 hours. So
She I've seen her take a face first dive off that
mhm,
trampoline and just be upset.
exactly.
And she fell a foot and just landed in such a way
Yep.
that she broke her elbow. And it's like, are you serious?
Yep. Yep.
So Ashley, I hear here that you're a big fan of our as someone put it, our retired "What Grinds My Knurling" segment. So I've been sitting here for the last 10 minutes trying to in between topics here trying to think of something that really has irritated me lately because I've been I for as bit for as much as I'm known to be the angry guy, it's been a pretty good couple weeks for me. I haven't had too many things really get off on me. But the one thing that's kind of been pissing me off is so my city provided trash can that I pay a significant amount of money for, like in my taxes to get trash. The lid on it's been broke for a while now, and I've called. So like, with the lid being broke, my sealed trash smells fucking horrendously when I walk by it because it's not actually a full seal anymore. Raccoons are getting into it regularly, so I'm kind of gonna fucking having to clean shit up every now and then. So been very annoying the last month or so since they broke it with the truck. Like they broke the lid when they because it's got one of the claws that come out and pick it up and dump it in the thing. So like the city broke it with their truck. So then I had to call and ask for replacement, and they were like, "Oh yeah, just leave it at the curb on your trash day until like 4 o'clock at night, and then sometime in the next 4 weeks, someone will come fix it." And it's been about 5 or 6 weeks. So we're to put a little email out next time I get a chance. But yeah, that's been the only thing as of late that really grinds my knurling, and I'm really not. I don't have a big rant for it. It's just I yeah, you went out of your way to make a point that you've
Yeah.
enjoyed that past segment, and I'm
Yeah.
sorry that I haven't been. Maybe I'm growing up. I let stuff bother me slightly less. I'm
Been
sure when I get off this,
hanging out with
I'll
me too
remember.
much.
Yeah, I'll remember 7 things that really pissed me off. But I was just I don't know. I guess I would say I've been too busy to be angry at
Yeah.
things.
No, what it is it's my voice in the back of your head saying everything's fine.
Yeah, everything's fine. Yeah,
Everything's fine.
it's been a minute
Um,
since I saw that in text.
Okay, people who go to experts for advice or information and then argue with them. I get that a lot in my job, right? Like, and I work in cell phones, and somebody will walk up and they'll go, "Why is my phone doing this?" And I'll go, "Oh, here's why." And I'll go into the phone settings and go into the diagnostic and show them, and they'll go, "Well, that's just not true." And it's like, you know what, man? At this rate, like I don't know what else to tell you. I've shown you the evidence. I've shown you how to find the evidence next time. I genuinely can only show you the outcome of what you've done. I can't show you why, right? Or no, that's water damage. Well, it's never been wet. It's clearly water damage. Sorry, man. Like I can tell that your phone has water damage based on the litmus paper inside your phone showing me water damage, but it's never been wet. That's just sorry, man. It's just not true. And I just don't know what to tell you beyond that rate. I just go, oh well, there's your answer, fishbulb. I don't have a follow up for you. So I guess that one has been on my nerves lately because it's been coming up a lot. A lot, a lot. Why are you here? Why are you talking to me then if you already think you know the answer or you don't want to know the answer? Like, why did you make your way all the way here and take time out of my day just to tell me I don't know what I'm talking about when I've been doing this for 10 years and you've never done this? Like, at that rate, there you go. That grinds my nerling.
All right. I don't
Um,
have anything, so I'm just happy it came back.
Yeah.
nice. I dig it. Yeah, I mean it's nice to not be angry. Like I
Yeah.
don't know.
I mean, personal
I've
growth
been to a
is
lot.
good, so this is. I mean, I'm okay to let it die. I didn't enjoy it for
I
the
guess let me
few
put it this
weeks
way.
that
Like
it was alive.
the things that I have vented about in the past probably still make me angry, but I've already talked about them. It's like I can't be like I don't want to repeat myself too often. I'm sure we already do if you ask the Davids.
Everything's fine. Actually, it's funny. When you were talking about Statler and Waldorf, my first thought was the Davids, if I'm being honest with you. Just sitting in the back chirping us. When
Your
you get on
husband,
stage.
I keep going back to your husband's mustache and like the fact that it's how long you guys been married?
uh, 17, so 7 years, I think.
That is a nice that is like it's probably a nice mustache by now then, huh?
He like trims it up and all kinds of stuff. So like, yeah, it goes through phases. So he'll like make it really long and bushy, like think like Civil War general, like, and then like it'll get short and like think like Ted Lasso, and
Mm-hmm.
then like it'll be anywhere in between. He's wanting to like start curling it out, not like twisty, but like I don't know how to describe it, just like this
Yeah.
almost point or whatever.
Yeah. Like this.
Yeah, but like just short. Like I don't, if you had to draw a mustache like without a face, how you would draw a mustache almost like.
Gotcha. And you had mentioned a Civil War general. Are you sure it wasn't a Civil War colonel?
Did they have colonels in the Civil War?
I
I don't know.
don't know. It was a. I don't fucking know. It was talking about being a
Yeah.
colonel. It was a whole sec.
Boo.
Oh fuck off! That grinds my like what you know what fucking grinds my knurling is when I say something that I know is fucking funny and you motherfuckers are like,
Yeah,
it's
I
not
know it's
funny.
funny and nobody else thinks it's funny.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You guys are wrong.
You're the problem,
Yeah.
not me. Fuck you.
Am
No,
I
I
out of
love
touch? No, it's the children. It's the
I
children who are
love
out
all
of
you.
touch.
I love all you guys. It's
Yeah.
all right. I mean there's a lot more stuff we get into, but I know we're all I think a little maybe just do a little extra unpaid or underrated and be good.
All
Unless
right.
unless there's anything else you want to cherry pick out of the what's left. I don't know. You're a worst liar ever. Is there a story there? Like you did you try to lie and got caught, or you just is this like something coming from like your childhood? Maybe someone had said you're just the worst liar ever.
No, I literally just physically can't do it. Like I have every tell in the book. I can't lie. So I just don't. Um, yeah. Uh, so like even if people are like, "Do you like my shirt?" I have to like come up with creative ways to essentially say
Oh,
no,
okay.
but
So you
without being
Oh yeah.
like I just
that's
can't. Like it's like I will like start blushing or like yeah, I
so
have so many tells, so
okay.
I just don't do it.
So when someone shows you their ugly kid and they're like, "Isn't he just the most precious thing you've ever seen?" or "Isn't he such a sweetheart?" and he's actually a little asshole, like you can, oh, that makes me so happy if you actually get to share that information with the parents.
Well, I mean, I don't tell people that their kids are assholes, but
I mean,
I'll find something like, oh my goodness, he has such long toes or something. Like, because you could like compliment the randomest things on babies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it's really hard because sometimes you gotta I turn to my wife and go, "That's an ugly baby," and she's like, "Stop! Like you can't say that." I was like, it's an ugly baby. I don't know what to tell you. I'm sure it'll grow up to be a great human, but that's an ugly baby. I don't fuck with it.
that makes me happy.
All right, we're gonna skip the wrestling talk this week for all you whiners, but I do see some wrestling notes in there, and I'm gonna not do it.
Go.
All right. So the last one maybe is kind of really random. Weird old music. What does weird old music mean? Like the
uh
Funny Farm song from like they're coming to take me away. Like is that type of stuff?
so I'm going to guess what weird old music means because I don't think the music I listen to is weird old music. But I don't listen to new music at all. Like I would say 95% of the music I listen to is older than I am. Um, think like Neil Diamond, Jim Croce, Frank Sinatra. Like you
All
could
those
just
names are
go,
here.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like you can, I try to pick like big ones that people will know, but like you can go like, uh, Willie Nelson, Waylon Jennings, things like. I'm not really genre specific. Just give me old music and I probably like it. But yeah, so like I will be talking to people at like work or friends or whatever, and I'll say things like Jim Croce, and they're like, "Who in the hell are you talking about?" And I'm like, What do you mean? Who am I talking about?" So I'm constantly explaining like old music to people. Yeah, oldies and stuff. So yeah, I assume that's what that means.
All right. I was hoping you listened to like that we like some arbitrary random Dr. Demento or something that just was that weird. But no, that's just literally just old music.
No,
So
I
is that
do actually have like favorite nonsense songs though, like where the lyrics I think are
Yep.
nonsense. So things like 2 out of 3 or 3 Ain't Bad Meatloaf. Like, I mean,
meatloaf
some of
talk?
those lyrics are nonsense.
I love that
Like,
song.
yeah, I mean, it's an amazing song. Like one of the like two posts on my Instagram has Meatloaf as the
50,
like background
50%.
music. Yeah, but is that song. But or MacArthur's Park, where it's like somebody left the cake out in the rain and I don't think I could take it because it took so long to bake it. Like it's just nonsense.
Hmm.
Because like the second line of that song's like uh something about a striped pair of pants and I'm like, whatever. So like I do love nonsense songs too. But and I do have a playlist of those. But yes. So maybe that as well.
Is there a funny story about you getting dressed up for your algebra 2 teacher?
For my
It
algebra.
just says under things they hate, getting dressed up for her algebra 2 teacher, and I thought that
I'm
might be
gonna
a
guess
funny.
those are two separate things. I hate getting
Hmm.
dressed
Oh,
up,
okay, sorry. Yeah,
and
there's
I really
someone.
hated
I
my
don't know if
algebra
it's.
2 teacher.
Yeah, that's. I don't know if it's our if it's Nate's app or what, but someone either.
Oh, blaming Nate.
I'm thinking someone just didn't use punctuation and commas because a lot
Hmm.
of these things run in together, and I'm like struggling to. Okay, so that makes yeah. Okay, so
No,
getting dressed up slash her algebra 2 teacher. Okay, so you
Getting
didn't
dressed
like your
up
algebra
is
2 teacher.
I didn't. I got in so much trouble in her class because I would argue with her about using calculators. I would like refuse to use them for basic math when she would really want me to. And she then randomly argued with me about which Caesar was alive when Jesus was crucified. Again, my dad's a preacher, so like I kind of have some like basis in theology and like timelines of this stuff. So like I'm like, it's not Julius Caesar. And she's like, it's totally Julius Caesar. And I'm like, it's not Julius Caesar.
it was not Julius Caesar.
It was not Julius Caesar. And like so I went home and I'm like, hey dad, do you have literature that proves that it wasn't Julius Caesar, like in the timeline of all of this stuff. And he's like, yes, here, take this book. And so, like, the next day, because I am this person, or I was this person in high school, and I took the book to school and was like, look, teacher, it wasn't Julius Caesar. And she's like, whatever. Like, obviously, you should have just let this die. Like, we just did not get along with each other, but that's okay.
But Julius Caesar's the only one I know. Therefore, he was alive forever and ever as long as
Yeah,
Caesars existed.
exactly. I mean, exactly. That was essentially the argument, it felt like. So,
Yeah.
Nice. I love proving people wrong. It makes me happy. That definitely does not grind my neuroly.
Getting dressed up is unpaid for sure.
Yeah, fuck
Like
that noise.
shorts and a tank top me all summer.
I mean,
Jeans and
I
a
work from
hoodie.
home. Like,
Yeah.
it's getting dressed up for like date nights and stuff when me and my husband go out, like, is like jeans now. I'm like, do I
Yeah.
have to really put on real pants? Like,
Even at work, they were like, you need to be in dress shirt and dress pants all week. And then I was like, I'll give you a good pair of jeans and a golf shirt. And that's about what you're getting out of me going forward for the rest of my career. if
Feel
I
that.
if I rip through one more dress shirt at this job, just because like getting bigger, I was like, I'm not. The golf shirts it is. At least they make them kind of stretchy now, right?
So what's up with the Daughters of the American Revolution? Was there something? Is that something you're trying to get into?
I am. I
What
am
is that?
working on joining. It is a. This is I don't want to say a secret society. It's not secret. It's a
I
society of
literally Googled
women.
it.
Uh, that it's like a club. It's kind of an ancestry thing, like think Rotary Club type stuff for people who can prove direct descendants from soldiers or anybody who directly helped within the American Revolution.
Oh, that's cool.
I've got some direct descendants who fought in the American Revolution. I've got several, and I'm kind of a nerd on like ancestry stuff and just if anybody has not figured it out so far, just in general. And it's an old lady thing to do, and I mean, I'm kind of an inner old lady in a semi, uh, what am I, submaster's body. Um, so I'm just kind of embracing the oldness of my soul early and joining now, and so I can go do fun stuff like they do, like restore old graves for soldiers and things like that. So yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I see
Yeah,
that
they're
on
they're
it's on
they're a
social
charity group.
media.
Yeah, they're a charity
Yep.
group, and they just go around doing. Rotary Club was a good comparison from what
Yep.
I gathered in my research, my very very brief research.
Yep.
The reason I even did research was, are we going to talk about this, or am I going to As soon as I saw the name, I was like, oh, I'm going to look that up before we get involved in that.
Yeah, there are some that are like daughters of that you do not want to touch.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I'll never be a part of anything called the Brotherhood. Thank you. So yeah, would you want to move on to the
Yeah, you
paid
got
and
it.
underrated?
Yeah. So, do you want to explain the rules to our first time listeners, Ashley, of the unpaid or underrated game that we play?
Yeah, unpaid and underrated is essentially unpaid is, well, you don't want to be unpaid, so that means that thing's not giving you no money. And underrated is like more people should pay attention to this kind of thing, but it is going to be based on your feelings, right? So you can do whatever you want compared to the. What, am I wrong?
I asked Ashley to explain the
Oh,
rules.
fuck me. You said can you? I spoke and you said
did
can
I
you?
not? Did I say Ashley or did I not
No.
say Ashley? No,
No.
you did say Ashley,
I
but
thought
I'm
so.
okay with Joey
Hi.
being Ashley.
Yeah,
So
I'm Ashley for 5 seconds.
we could all be women this
Yeah.
podcast. It's good.
Yes, I'll be Ashley for 5 seconds. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you say Ashley.
I tried to let
I mean, I
her
didn't
kind
really
of.
want to explain it either, so this all works out
Oh,
well.
look at
It
that.
works out. I
I
never want
got
to
you.
explain it.
I got you.
I always fuck it up when I explain it. So
I
it's
felt the discomfort and was like, you know what? I'm Ashley now. Look at me.
all right. Well, we got several here. We're try to, and if there's anything else we didn't go through general topics, we can kind of cherry pick in here. So, unpaid or underrated, I'm gonna go with so many good ones. Let's go unpaid or underrated using the word howdy.
Oh, that's completely underrated. Or yeah, underrated.
Yes.
I use it all the time. Um, like it is so fun to use, first of all. People get a kick out of it, and it completely disarms anybody. So if people are coming at you and they're like in somewhat of an angry mood or whatever, and you say howdy, um, it's almost hard for them to stay mad at you. Um,
Nice.
Either way, it just starts things. It starts interactions off on a fun foot. So I use it all the time, and it's my favorite like salutation. Is it salutation? Yeah, I
Greetings
don't know.
and salutation. Well,
Greeting.
so it's
No,
greetings and
salutations is bye. So no,
yeah.
yeah,
So I would say greetings. Yeah, because the
yep,
phrase is greetings and salutations. Which why would you?
yep,
Because people say that, but it's like why would you say them both? I guess it's just more stating that this is greetings
yep,
and salutations. That's weird.
yep.
Okay, so the word howdy underrated. I would tend to agree. So I think I say it a lot on the podcast. Do I pretty much anytime Joey introduces me, I feel like I always say howdy howdy. Is that am I getting that right? Would you notice that as a loyal listener?
I don't notice it, but I also say it all the time, so I don't happen to notice. Like,
Doesn't stick out. Okay. I feel that I do. I feel like I kind of feel like I say howdy a fair amount because it's just I don't know, it's a fun it's kind of one of it's as Tommy would say it's my niche.
I thought
Um
I thought you were doing it to mock me
oh
because
I
after Tanner and Tommy went to Michigan to interview Dr. Mike
oh
and
yeah.
visited Elite FTS, Tanner started the podcast with Howdy. And I specifically said, I don't know why, but that irked me because he's never said it before.
Did I subconsciously do it to fuck with that's even so now we have to have Ashley go back and see if I ever said howdy before that episode.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because
okay.
I remember saying, like, I don't know why, but he's never said it before. And I think I
Maybe
said
I
the
didn't. I don't
phrase,
know.
I said traveling changed you because now you said howdy on the podcast. I think he's been doing it ever since. And yeah, I thought you were doing it because you know that one time it bothered
No,
me.
that makes me that's hysterical that you think that low, but like maybe subconscious. No,
Maybe.
I really don't think I am. I think it's just
No, there's no way.
I get into a rhythm and I just like consistently say the same
I'm just
thing, and
being
so I say,
narcissistic. Everything's about me.
I do really
no.
enjoy that. I'm like, it really disarms people and makes them less mad. And you're like, it really pissed me off that he said howdy.
It grinds his knurling so
It was
hard.
only because I don't
I'm
think in
getting so much knurling grinding in.
all of the episodes I've ever listened to, Tanner's never said it. And then that one, when they got back, he said it. And I was just like, that doesn't sit right with me. And I don't know why, but again, it's just because it's out of the norm, right?
Okay, so unpaid or underrated. Ooh, so many. Chris Christopherson.
Unpaid.
What?
Cannot stand his voice.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Oh
What
my
about
goodness. Like he
so is
can write a
this
song. I
Uh,
will give him all due credit there. He can write a good song. He cannot sing for anything. Cannot stand his voice. So I'm going to give him an unpaid
huh?
all day,
What
every day.
now is that just as a vote? Well, because okay, so that's well, okay. Well, the next one that
Just
I'll
as a vocalist, yes.
yeah, because I'll segue into the next one because that actually all right. Christopher Copperson unpaid. So another one here. I'm gonna go with watching movies, unpaid or underrated.
Also unpaid.
I heard that. I heard that.
Uh, I don't watch movies. Like I don't
Yep.
really have anything against watching movies. I just have better stuff to do with my time.
Yep.
Uh, so I just don't do it.
I
Like,
got.
yeah.
So I specifically followed up with that one because to me, I know Chris Christopherson. I mean, he's almost like a hybrid. Like he did so much. He did so many movies in the '70s and '80s. Like there's a handful of movies. Like I always get the two football movies from the late '70s or the '80s mixed up. But he was either in Semi Tough or I think he was in North Dallas 40, which most people listening to this won't know what the fuck I'm talking about because these are like pre I was even born. Like these are like I googled like football movies and it's like they're just on a list of like 50 football movies that I went and found. So nonetheless, but like Convoy, it was a very like not great movie, but it's where one of his songs came from and stuff. But like I don't know, outside of like Highwayman, like that's probably the which was like a collaboration. I don't know a ton of Chris Christopherson that I would hang my hat on and be like, oh yeah, he's awesome. So I guess I would guess I would agree with being unpaid because he is very
Like
popular,
I think
but
he
I don't
wrote
know.
like Me and Bobby McGee and like Sunday Morning Coming Down and stuff. And like I like those songs. Cannot stand him singing them. And like, yeah, I've never seen any of his movies
Yeah, so
because
that
I just don't watch movies. So yeah.
I feel that. Okay.
You know what? Same thing with Bob Dylan. Can't stand the guy's fucking voice.
Oh yeah, he's
I
overrated as
actually
shit.
don't mind. I mean,
Oh, I
he is
can't.
overrated. He is
Ah,
unpaid,
Unpaid, yeah,
but
I fuck that one up.
uh, but I don't mind Bob Dylan. So me and my oldest kid went and we would go see Broadway shows. We had a season tickets to the Cincinnati Broadway, and they had The Girl from North Country, which was a whole show based on Bob Dylan's songs. Worst show ever. Don't go see it. Just this is a like PSA for people. Just don't go buy tickets. It's the worst show. It's awful. Don't go see it. So there we go. We can move on from there too.
ah.
Also unpaid.
You got more there, Keith?
Uh, well, I had one that I was gonna ask, but I must have misinterpreted earlier because someone, I swear I saw Twister and I assumed it was the movie, but you don't
No,
watch
so I
movies.
love that movie.
Oh, okay, so that's the one movie you have watched. So have you seen the sequel, Twisters,
I
or
have
the
not seen this
sequel
the
adjacent?
sequel Twisters. Probably won't because I don't watch movies, but I
Okay,
do love
the
Bill
movie. Okay,
Paxton, and so that one would
R.I.P.
definitely be underrated.
Okay,
Uh,
good.
yep.
Okay, that rounds out my four. So I went a little over, but I think Joey's got a handful of good ones left.
Yeah, I do. All right. Unpaid or underrated? Broken toes.
I mean,
I hear you're an expert.
I am an expert. I have broken every single toe, so all 10 at least once. Uh, and it's a fun conversation topic because I can say, "Hey, I've broken every single toe at least once," but it really sucks. So, I mean, I have to go unpaid because it really sucks to do. Um, but yeah, it is fun to kind of talk about the fact that I've broken every single toe.
Did you break every single toe one time, or how many have you broken at the same time?
So, I mean, I've broken the most I've broken at one time, I think, is two um at once, but I've broken every single one like on separate occasions at least once. I've broken several times. I have some really jacked up looking feet. I'm not getting on like any of the foot websites anytime soon because nobody wants to
Sorry,
see
sorry, mofo.
that. uh but yeah, because I don't even like tape up the toes or stuff
There's
anymore
nothing
because
you
I'm
can do
just
about
like
a broken
whatever.
toe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just like whatever, I'm just gonna deal with this now. Yeah.
Okay.
How does that happen? Like I'm so confused. Do you have is it do you have extra long toes that just get caught on stuff when you're
I
walking
mean,
Calcium
barefoot?
deficiency?
I don't fuck it. How does that happen?
I mean, I think, I mean, I don't think I have like abnormally long
I
toes, but I do think I have longer toes.
okay.
So they do get caught on things. I'm
Okay.
also like, Grace is not my middle name. Like, I am not the most graceful person in the world.
It's not
I
your last
trip
name
and
either, probably.
fall a lot. No, it is not.
Then
Um,
again,
and so, like, I mean, I just trip
Somebody
and fall or I kick things or whatever. Like, I mean, the one time I broke two toes was because I forgot there was a 25-pound plate on something and it just fell and I broke toes. Like, yeah, so yeah.
so
that sounds painful.
first I
It
want to point out the amount of times that this episode has had the phrase long toes is more than three. Also, somebody gave her a Macho Man Randy Savage elbow off the top rope to her toes every single time, is what happened, Keith.
There you go.
yes.
I,
Yes.
who
Oh,
said
yeah.
long
But she
toes?
says,
Who
"Oh
said
yeah,"
long toes
and
before me? Did
Slim
I
Jim.
miss?
Yeah.
She did.
Okay, okay.
That's what she said about
That's
complimenting the baby. Your baby has
oh
nice long
yeah.
toes. And
Yep,
then
yep,
you're like,
you're
do you have
right.
long toes? And then she
Oh,
said long toes.
it's
Like, oh,
I think I ever broke a toe. I have little I have little short curly toes. I don't know.
no, those are hairs. Um, Unpaid and underrated. Ric Flair.
Oh, so oh goodness, this is a hard one because I mean, I feel like he's pretty highly rated.
Yeah,
I
like
mean,
he's before Shawn Michaels, the GOAT, right? Like
yeah, like, I
nobody's
mean,
ever done it better.
he's pretty highly rated, but I do probably have an abnormal like love for him as like a sociological like figure. Um I'm sure that makes no sense whatsoever. Like I loved his 30 for 30. Like he made me sad. Like his 30 for 30 made me sad, but like for him, but like at the same time, like he's Ric Flair, and like I totally follow no context Ric Flair memes on Instagram because they
Mhm.
make me giggle all the time. Uh, but I can't say that he's unpaid, like, because he's Ric Flair. So I guess I'm gonna have to go. But I can't say he's underrated either. Oh goodness.
But has he lost some like good morale with or good
I,
like with all this shit? There was the airplane ride thing. Well, didn't there like a bunch of accusations of him like groping and like this,
He
okay,
pulled it
coming?
so
out.
like maybe.
He pulled
Yeah,
it.
that's what.
Yeah,
Okay,
he
yeah.
he
So
pulled it out.
so so
Okay, so then I'm gonna go unpaid. Yeah, like so. I mean, I don't like keep up with him that much. So
Yeah,
like, oh, all right. So
but still
new
did a lot of
information.
yeah,
Like unpaid.
still did a lot of amazing stuff for wrestling, right? Like you
He
can't
did.
can't argue that.
saw him
He's
deadlifting the other day on Instagram. I think like as
oh,
like an
yeah.
80-year-old.
Well, he's not in bad shape except for the alcohol. Unpaid or underrated knitting.
So, underrated. I knit. Um, it's again one of the old lady things that I do. It's something to do with my hands. Like I'm a fidgeter, and so I was like, let's totally make fidgeting productive. And
Hmm.
so, like, essentially, knitting is productive fidgeting. And I can't tell you how many times I've actually got like dirty looks or literally in trouble at work for like pulling out knitting like during the middle of meetings or trainings or whatever when I would have to be in person. Um, because I'm like, I'm just sitting here. Let me be productive. And I would start knitting. So yeah, knitting completely um, underrated. It is. It can totally turn into an expensive hobby
Hmm.
because there are things like yarn snobs, and like you could totally turn into that. And I sort of am. I totally have a stash of
Good
yarn
yarn
over
versus bad
there.
yarn.
Yes, I have preferences. Don't
Yep.
come at me with like acrylic yarn or anything that's not like merino wool, at
Yeah,
least.
I was gonna bring up
Like,
merino wool.
and if, I mean, and me, I don't have time to hand wash things, so it better be super wash merino wool so that I can throw it into like a washing machine. Because I will hand wash a knitted garment once and then I will not do anything else. Um, One fun fact about my knitting is when I was giving it away to people, and I give it away to my nieces and nephews and anybody, like, because I knit hats and little animals and scarves and stuff. Um, I came up with my own little brand. One of this, there are only two stitches in knitting, a knit stitch and a purl stitch. So I called it mini, like the size, Mine, and then Pearl with like the stitch, and it was like the mini Pearl brand, and it was hats because Mini Pearl, like the country singer, always had like a little tag that came down from her hat. So anyway, I had my own little knitting hat brand for a while till I ran out of
Uh,
tags, and I never reordered them.
my wife is a knitter, so
Oh, fun!
yeah. As soon as you were like the wool snobs, I was like, oh,
Yes,
seek out this shit.
yes.
I currently have a pair of
Ravelry.com.
yes, she actually is on Ravelry.com. Okay, let's go with the last one. Unpaid or underrated? Paying your mortgage to the right place.
Completely underrated. Oh my goodness. I'm sure my husband told you about this because I know I did not put it, and he's the only one who else knows about this. So, yeah, completely underrated. You should totally pay your mortgage to the correct people. Um, yeah, so we just moved at the
That's,
beginning,
I hope Jeff
and
is
like
listening. This is great financial advice.
and so like I was setting up the automatic bill pay and everything through my bank, and somehow there got to be an extra six in the account number as I was setting all of this up. And so my mortgage went to like the wrong account. It seemed like. And I didn't notice until after like the payment had posted and everything, and because I was using like their bill pay stuff, like the bank was like, well, you use ACH, so we can't like dispute the charge. So call these people, and they were like, well, and like hemmed and hawed and stuff, and I'm like, are you serious? Like, did I just lose my mortgage payment? Because like I'm an idiot and can't type in numbers correctly. And like, why did you not have to like make me confirm this number? Like, because I literally like typed it in on my phone like once. And then they were like, oh, it'll all sort itself out or whatever. And like, I don't know. It took like 7 calls. And it's all good now. But for a couple days there, it very much was like, I literally just have to eat a mortgage payment because I randomly
Oof,
sent it to somebody
that's
Yeah,
a
that I
lot.
don't know who, and they don't have any reason to send it back to me. Like,
of course.
yeah,
Just a little bonus for them, I guess. But it
no,
all worked out. That's good.
but it did. It all worked out. Yeah, it ended up being okay. So, but yes, pay your mortgage to the correct people.
Okay, bonus round, unpaid or underrated screaming.
Screaming is completely unpaid. You can live your life without ever having to scream. I physically cannot do it. I have tried, I don't know how many times. I cannot scream. And so, yeah, it's a skill people don't need. It's like a cartwheel. I can't do a cartwheel either. You don't have to be able to do that.
So if that's a skill people don't need, why is whistling through your ear one that people need?
People don't need that either. It's, I don't know who told you that one. Did I? I don't think I told you that one. So, I don't know who told you that one. I have not done that in 30 years probably. But I have a permanent tube in my ear because I had ear problems growing up. And I realized at some point in my childhood that it like if I held my nose and like closed my mouth really hard and like tried to like blow out, that it would actually come out my ear and it would like make a whistling sound and like I could whistle out of my ear, but it would
Who
give me the
cares?
most massive headache ever.
Yeah, don't do
It
So
that again.
should. I feel
I
like it should.
haven't
Oh,
I haven't done it in forever. I don't know if I still can or not, but like,
Don't try.
yeah, I
yeah,
don't
please
want
don't.
to. Like, I'm not going to, but like, yeah, that
That's
was a thing
pretty.
I could do for a while.
That's a pretty good story. I
Yeah.
like it.
All right, I
Well,
think you passed unpaid and underrated,
Yay.
indeed. Well
especially
done.
the explanation part. That was really good work of you.
Yes. All right. Do you have anything for us? Did you have as a longtime listener, you know what segment we're on now? Anything you want to hit us with?
Sure. I mean, we're getting a little into it, so I'll give you some like kind of rapid fire stuff. I don't think this question has been asked yet, so I'll ask it of you guys. How many of the Massonomic sponsors, past or present, have you all actually bought things from? So I'll tell you there are 10 total that there have been, at least that I know of. And I can run
Go.
through them real
Yeah, you
quick
can
if
go
you
through
want.
them for that'd be ideal. Yeah,
All
I'll
right.
do the fingers.
Yeah, we'll do the hands down, fingers down when.
All right. So Build Fast,
Yes.
Barefoot, Strength
Yes.
Co., Juggernaut, Texas Power Bar, Strength Co., or not Strength Co., Swiss Co.
Swiss
Swiss
link.
link.
Swiss Lake. I have it written down wrong. Yes. Spud Inc. Too many inks and co's and links. Hyper Performance, Lifting Large, and Fusion Sports Performance.
What's lifting large?
It was like
Ground
a
Lock Deadlift Slipper.
Got it. Okay. Well, yeah, Keith and I are both at. We're just gonna settle. We're not gonna say who. We're not gonna say which ones. Most of you could figure this out if you knew us, but I think we're both at
half.
half.
How in the hell do I beat you all? But
I
okay.
think you. I think you had. You said there were 10, but I think you only said 7. No.
Heck no.
Okay. Whatever. 50%. So Keith and I are both at 50%.
I
I
dig
have
it.
6. All right. Cool. All right.
That was a cool one.
All right. Next one. Next rapid fire. How much sawdust can you put in the Rice Krispie treats until people start to notice?
Fuck.
Like percentage.
Per square or for the entire sheet?
Like percentage.
Percentage. Fuck.
30.
No. Like 8.
You think 8, really? I
Like
mean, I
I
think it's somewhere in between 8 and 30. Like, I think
don't
30 is
know. I
a
don't
lot,
think
but
Yeah, like they're pretty bleh anyway, right? Like
so. Like
you
so. I mean, the good. Okay, so I put it this way: if you buy an off-brand one and it's the first time you had it, like so when Proof Falls, Big Chris Mark couldn't find like the name brand Kellogg's Rice Krispie treats, so he bought some bullshit Walmart one with sprinkles, and they tasted like dog shit. Those could have been 50% sawdust, and I wouldn't have known because they just tasted like shit. But a repetitive Kellogg's Rice Krispie treats that I know exactly the texture, the taste, the smell, the flavor, like how chewy it is, how much it pulls apart, like all that, because I've eaten fucking 1,000 of them. That I could for sure, if it was less than, if it even got close to 10% of a variance, I would taste it.
but the question wasn't how much
Eh,
sawdust could Kellogg's put in your
yeah.
regular treat.
Well, I
It
don't eat fucking
it would
homemade
be
Rice
like if
Krispies.
you were
That's my Rice Krispie treat though, so that's how
yeah,
I'm
if you
interpreting it
were
because
bringing Rice
brothers,
Krispies,
fucker.
if somebody brought Rice Krispies to a party
Oh,
and every party you increasingly added sawdust,
it's
at
such
what
a.
percentage would people notice?
It depends
I
on what
say
type of wood. Yeah,
30 because I think that they're generally gritty and terrible to begin with.
30% is a lot though. Like at that point, at 30%, you're completely changing the texture of them. I'd feel,
Are
and
you?
it,
Because they have a terrible texture to begin with.
it would literally be 30% is such a
Yeah, but
actual high
it's
percentage that you would literally
sawdust. It's not
yeah, and
sand.
salt. I because someone that's like been in carpentry a lot, like if you're cutting something with a circular saw and fucking sawdust goes in your mouth, you fucking taste wood. I'm gonna taste fucking wood. Oh god damn it, someone's gonna make a joke about that.
Yeah, I was going to say you're going to taste this
Cocksuckers.
wood.
Oh, you fuckers. I hate you guys. Yeah, Nate episode title, tasting wood. Yeah, I don't know. I've like I have inhale I have digested sawdust. I would like I know I don't know. I've
Do
been
you have
around
an
a lot of.
answer for that, or did you just want us to argue over it?
I
I
think
just
she just
wanted
wants
you
to
all to
argue.
argue.
And
I have no
what
clue. It's
well
literally
she
one
said
of those
between 8 and
questions
30.
that like I just ask people to like throw
Great.
them off
It's a
guard. So
great, yeah, it's a great
Oh,
question.
this okay, so this is like you
There's no
like
answer.
for
That nobody has
there's
studied
no
this because we're
answer.
not
yeah,
No,
yeah, yeah.
psychopaths.
Yeah.
no, like I don't go making like sawdust Rice Krispie treats just to like as a social experiment. I should, but I don't.
See
Yeah.
if there's any sawdust and Mary's Scotch Roos out there and Tanner's just fucking with us.
All right. And then we'll end on a fun note, and we'll make this the last one for
That was
me.
fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
But I want to know everybody's favorite dad joke. So like just the ultimate dad joke.
I will go last. You go, Keith.
I literally can't think. I don't tell. I mean, everything I say is like would be considered shitty dad jokes. I don't know, but I don't know. I'd have literally nothing.
So
No.
I have a physical like gag and then like an actual like joke, like a spoken one, and I'll start and then maybe you can like think of something. So I'll start with a physical gag. This was one that my grandfather did all the time, and he always carried a pen with him like in his pocket. And I don't know how many people he always caught with it, but he would always say, "Hey, I got this new pen and it writes purple. Do you want to see?" And they would be like inevitably say yes. And so he would pull out a piece of paper and he would pull the pen out and he would write the word purple on the paper in whatever color ink the pen was that
That's
was not
funny.
purple.
Yeah,
He
that's
Yeah.
never
good.
had purple ink. So that one's just a classic for me. And then like the spoken word one, because it cracks up the small children in my life, nieces, nephews, and otherwise so much. It is the Pete and repeat joke. So you'd be like, Pete and repeat are sitting on a fence. Pete fell off. Who's left? And they'll be like, repeat. And then you say, Pete and repeat were sitting on a fence. Pete fell off. Who's left? Repeat. And they just like, you just keep going until they like crack up or go crazy if they're an adult and really want to kill you. So yeah.
Turn signal.
So that actually is a very good segue into our friend Matt, who sends his regards that he could not be here today, but he did send me a joke.
There we go.
Um, he sent me a couple. I'm not going to go with the one that he wanted me to go with because
Fuck him.
no, yeah, it's about dogs, and I really don't want to do that. So we're going to go with this one. What brand of shoes do chickens wear? Reebok.
That is a good one.
All right, and then I will give you my favorite. You know when you look up and you see geese flying overhead in the V, and one side's always longer than the other? Do you know why they do that? Because
You
there's more
said
geese
this
on that
before.
side.
Yeah, I think you've said that one,
Yeah,
fucker.
I love that joke. It just is it's a non-joke, and I love
Yep.
non-jokes.
Non-jokes are really good. Yes.
Yeah. So there you go. That's my answer to those ones. And shout out to Big
Perfect.
Matt for sending me some jokes this week.
Appreciate you, buddy. I don't have it. I couldn't tell you a single dad. I don't know any dad joke. I don't. That did not resonate anything with. I don't know. I think it was like if I happen to pass wind in front of my father-in-law, he'll always make a comment about barking spiders. Is that a dad? I don't know. I
No,
don't know. I
no,
don't. I don't know
no.
anything. I
Your
don't.
area of expertise is
Not
what I would
not dad
normally call
jokes.
bro humor or
Hmm.
dick jokes.
Yeah. I don't. I'm not in a very much company that like has to be PC very often. So
No, but your segues are usually would be described as dad jokes every once in a while. When
Yeah.
you get a really
okay.
good one, those are kind of dad jokes.
Like one out of four are pretty
Yep.
bangers, and the rest are kind of fall short. I feel
Yep.
it's a numbers game.
All right.
That was fun. I enjoyed all that.
Yeah, that was a good time. And my little girl actually slept through the whole thing. So either I
Nice.
wasn't that loud or she is really asleep. I think a couple weeks ago somebody asked me about the sheepskin blanket that I had hanging up there. She actually demanded to sleep under that tonight. So she is my little feral child sleeping under a sheepskin blanket right
Hmm.
now. All right, Keith, where do we find you at, buddy?
Keith Honeycutt 73. Go follow my Orange Gym, then a wine cellar. Please hit us up on the affiliate links: Obsidian, Barbell Rescue, Plate Snacks, and Home Gym Con.
I'm
What about you? Yep.
Joey underscore Molesco. Just use our affiliate codes. I do have one with Lift Hard Be Kind. They have a pair of great shorts. They're not cheap, but they are really high quality, and you get 10% off using my code, which is Joey10. And then you have our affiliate codes. Please use those. Those still come back to us in some form or another. And Ashley, what about you?
If you want to follow me, you can at McSmashley. If you don't, then you don't have to because I don't really post much. So, yep, that's where you can find me.
Awesome. Hit up our Instagram, Unpaid and Underrated Podcast, website, unpaidinternpodcast.com. Follow us on the YouTubes, and we'll see you next Tuesday.